بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وما تقدموا لأنفسكم من خير تجدوه عند الله إن الله بما تعملون بصير.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Dear brothers and sisters, in this session I am going to explain the rules regarding the prayers of a traveler. As you know, a person who travels a distance of 8 farsakh or a distance of 44 kilometers away from his hometown should shorten his prayers. He should reduce the numbers of his prayers into 2. That is to say, he should offer 2 rakats instead of 4 rakats. Of course, the Fajr prayer and the Maghrib prayer cannot be shortened. Only those prayers which consist of 4 units and 4 rakat should be reduced to 2 rakat. There are some 8 conditions under which a person should shorten his prayer. If those conditions are met, a traveler cannot offer complete prayers. He should shorten his prayers, and this is his duty. Of course, it does not make any difference whether he travels on foot or he travels by air or by car. There are some people who think that if a journey is difficult, if a journey is hard and wearisome, then in that case it would be necessary to shorten the prayers. I should tell you that a journey, whether it is difficult or easy, whether you travel on foot or by car or by air, the prayer has to be shortened. It has to be reduced. And the journey has nothing to do with difficulty, with hardship, and with anything like that. Actually, reducing your prayers to 2 and offering 2 prayers instead of 4, offering 2 rakats of prayer instead of 4 is a matter of submission. It's a matter of ta'abbud. You have to obey the command of the divine command, the command of your Lord, who has ordered you to reduce your prayers on a journey. So the Shia shorten their prayers during their journeys, even if the journey is easy, even if there is no difficulty accompanied with the journey. Now, there are 8 conditions which, if met, if available, we have to shorten our prayers. What is the first condition? The first condition is that the distance which you travel, the distance which you travel should be as far as 8 farsakh. That is the least and the minimum requirement of the journey. Now, how much is 8 farsakh in kilometers or in miles, if you want to just speak in modern words, because farsakh is a word in Arabic normally people do not know as to how much is 1 farsakh in kilometers and how much is it in miles, so it's very difficult. Now I will tell you that 1 farsakh is equal to 5.5 kilometers, and 8 farsakh is equal to 44 kilometers. 44 kilometers. 8 farsakh is equal to 28 miles. If your outward and return distance become 8 farsakh, for instance 22 kilometers would be the outward distance and 22 kilometers would be the return distance, that would be sufficient, and it would make qasr obligatory. You will have to shorten your prayers, you will have to reduce your prayers to 2. That is an important condition. The minimum distance, you should remember, is 44 kilometers or 28 miles, not less than that. If you travel less than 44 kilometers, then of course you will have to offer full prayers. You will have to offer complete prayers.
يا دافع الخطوب يا جابر المعطوف يا من هو مندوبي فعفوك مطلوبي يا دافع الخطوب يا جابر المعطوف يا من هو مندوبي فعفوك مطلوبي يا ستار العيوب يا غفار الذنوب يا ستار العيوب يا غفار الذنوب يا علام الغيوب يا كشاف الكروب.
Of course, if a person does not know whether the distance which he is going to travel is 8 farsakh or not, he does not know whether it is 44 kilometers or not from the border of the town in which he lives, or from Hadd al-Tarakhus, or from the borderline, from the boundary of the town in which he lives until the point and the destination for which he is living. If he does not know whether the distance which he is going to cover is 8 kilometers or not, then he must offer full prayers and he cannot shorten his prayers. Even if it may likely, even if it's very much likely that it might be 8 farsakh or 44 kilometers, he must shorten his prayers. He cannot shorten his prayers, and he must offer full prayers. Of course, if a just person, if an adil individual or a reliable person tells you that the destination, that the distance is equal to 44 kilometers, then you can trust him and you can shorten your prayers. And if a person believed that his journey equaled to 8 farsakh, to 44 kilometers, and he shortened his prayers, and later on he came to know that it was not 8 farsakh. In case the time is left, he should offer full prayers within the time, and if the time has passed, he should perform the qaza of the prayers. Now, there is one question. A question is that, as you know, we have some people whose profession is traveling. For example, there are some people who are drivers, there are some people who are sellers. They are frequently traveling. Now, they are in Arabic terminology called kasir safar. Now, who is a frequent traveler? If a person, of course, is a frequent traveler, he cannot shorten his prayers, he must offer full prayers. A frequent traveler is a person who travels at least 10 days in a month and 60 days in 6 months. If a person travels, or if he is on a journey 10 days in a month and 60 days and 6 months, then he is considered to be a frequent traveler, and he should offer full prayers on all of his journey, and he must also observe fast. He cannot break his fast, and he cannot shorten his prayers. This is the definition of a frequent traveler: 10 days in a month and 60 days and 6 months. A frequent traveler must always offer full prayers. If you are not a frequent traveler and you want to travel to a place, and there are 2 ways. One is less than 8 farsakh, and the other is equal to 8 farsakh or more than 1 farsakh, the distance, then 8 farsakh. It depends on which road and which way to travel. If you take the shorter way, then you cannot shorten your prayers. But if you take the longer way, or the way which is equal to 44 kilometers to reach your destination, then you must offer short prayers, and you cannot offer complete prayers. The first condition I explained, and I should tell you that the first condition in a nutshell and short is to travel 8 farsakh or 44 kilometers or 28 miles. What is the second condition? Because I said there are 8 conditions under which a person should shorten his prayers. What is the second condition? The second condition is that the travel should intend at the time of the commencement of the journey to cover a distance of 8 farsakh. Now, if you do not intend to travel 8 farsakh, for example, you intend to travel like 20 kilometers, not 44 kilometers, or less than 44 kilometers, then of course you cannot shorten your prayers. Even if you end up traveling 44 kilometers, but since you in the beginning you did not intend to travel 44 kilometers away from your hometown, then you cannot shorten your prayers. Now, if you have reached a place which is 44 kilometers away from your hometown, of course, on your return home, you must shorten your prayers, because you will return, and on return you do intend to reach home. Your intention is to reach home, and you know that the distance between the place where you are and the place where your home is located is 44 kilometers, then you should shorten your prayers. A person who does not know how many farsakh or how many kilometers his journey would be, like for example if he travels in search of something, not knowing how far he will have to go, he should offer full prayers. This is because he might have lost something and he goes out in search of it. He does not know where he can find his lost object, and he travels, walks here and there, and he is not sure how far he will go and where he will find his lost object. Then he must offer full prayers because he does not intend to travel more than 44 kilometers. Of course, the intention is important. If you intend to travel 8 farsakh, then you must offer full prayers even if you travel a few distance every day. For example, you set off and you start traveling. Your destination is, of course, at a distance of 44 kilometers, but you travel little by little, for example, 10 kilometers every day, 20 kilometers every day, or less than that, or more than that, then even if you do not reach that destination in the same day, then you can shorten your prayers, and you must shorten your prayers. You must not change your mind while on a journey. If you have decided to travel 44 kilometers, which makes the prayer short and which makes it obligatory on you to shorten your prayers, to reduce your prayers, if you change your mind in the middle of the way to come back home, or to stop there and not to go further, or to stay at that place which is not 44 kilometers away from your home and to stay there for 10 days, then you cannot shorten your prayers. Because you have changed your mind, you must offer full prayers. This is, of course, the third condition. The second condition, as I mentioned, is that you have to have it in your mind and your intention that you should travel 44 kilometers. That is, and of course you have to, when you commence the journey, when you start the journey, you should have that intention, and you should not have the intention to stop somewhere which is less than, or to stay somewhere which is less than 44 kilometers. Now the third condition, which is very much similar to the second condition, is that the traveler should not change his mind. He in the beginning wanted to travel 44 kilometers, and if he changes his mind, then he cannot offer full prayers. So he should not change his mind. If he changes his mind, and if he changes his decision, he cannot offer full prayers. The fourth condition is that the traveler should not intend or does not intend to pass through his hometown.
ناجيتك يا رحمن ودعوتك يا ديان يا خالق الإنسان الله 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 يا خالق الإنسان الله الله الله. Because if he goes a little way away from his hometown and then he comes back and crosses his hometown and goes somewhere else, this is not considered a distance of 44 kilometers. He should not cross his hometown, whether by car or on foot. If he passes through his hometown and goes somewhere else, then he cannot, of course, he cannot offer short prayers. He cannot shorten and reduce his prayers. Now, a question of hometown, of course, is a very important question. There are some families who, for example, who used to live in a village. For example, you are living in a village and you married and shifted to another place because you found a job in the city. You are now living in the city and you have changed your residential place. Then the question is, if you return back to the village, or if you go back to the place where you used to live before marriage, is it necessary for you to offer full prayers, or is it necessary for you to shorten your prayers? Now again here it depends on your intention. If you have given up the place as your hometown, if you have abandoned that place with such an intention not to go back and live there and reside there or settle there in future, then that place is no longer your place of residence, is no longer considered your hometown. So you must shorten your prayers there, even if you were born there, because you have abandoned, you have renounced, you have given up that place, and you are not intending to live there in future as your hometown. You cannot live there, you cannot shorten your prayers. You cannot offer full prayers, you must shorten your prayers, because you have given up, you have left that place, you have abandoned that place, and you decide not to live there in future. You have changed and you have come to the town where you have a job, where you have built your own home in the city. Of course, even if your parents might be living there in the village or in that place where you were born, you might visit them, you might go back to them to visit them. But since you do not intend to live there in future and to settle there in future, and you have abandoned it forever, sometimes you might visit that place, but that is not considered to be going to your hometown, because it depends on your intention. It depends on your niyat. If your niyat is that in future you will not live there and you will not settle there with your wife, then you cannot shorten, then you cannot offer full prayers. You must shorten and reduce your prayers. The same is true with a woman who leaves her parents' house and goes to her in-laws' house. She must consider that if she has renounced her parents' hometown and she has abandoned her parents' hometown, then she cannot, of course, offer full prayers there in her parents' house. Now, that is the fourth condition which I explained. As far as the fifth condition is that the purpose of traveling should not be haram. If a person decides to commit a sin on his journey, for example, if he intends to commit a theft, he cannot shorten his prayers. If a person intends to commit a crime or something which is considered to be sin, he cannot shorten his prayers. If you, for example, intended to travel on a journey, and of course at first you did not intend to commit a sin, but in the middle of the journey you intended to commit a sin, then in that case also you cannot shorten your prayers. You must offer full prayers. Of course, on your journey back home, you must offer short prayers. You must offer qasr prayer. But as long as you are there at the destination point, and as long as you are traveling because you have the intention to commit a sin, then since this journey is considered to be a journey of sin, you cannot shorten your prayers, you cannot reduce your prayers. This is the fifth condition. There's one thing else. Sometimes it might happen to you or to someone else that you take your friend's car and you travel using that car. You drive using your friend's car without his permission. If you do not know, you should know that if you take your friend's car using it without his permission on a journey, then it is a journey of sin and you must offer full prayers. In the same case, if a woman is on a journey which is not an obligatory journey, for example, she leaves her home and goes to another city without her husband's permission and without her husband's consent, and it's not a journey of an obligatory journey like a journey on Hajj or a journey for the Hajj pilgrimage, then this journey is considered to be a journey of sin and she must offer full prayers. In the same way, if a child or if a person leaves her hometown without and his journey is a cause of trouble and hurt for his parents, if his journey is against the consent of his parents and his parents is hurt by his child taking this journey, then he must offer full prayers. He cannot shorten his prayers. If you are using your car, your friend's car, or your friend's vehicle without his permission and you go on a journey, you must offer full prayers. Because the thing that you have usurped, then that is a sin and you are using that thing to travel. If you are traveling on a usurped land, in that case also you must offer full prayer. This is the fifth condition. As far as the sixth condition is concerned, the sixth condition is that the traveler should not be a nomad. A nomad, because a nomad is usually changing his place, moving from place to place. A nomad because he does not have a hometown. In winter, in the seasons, he changes. Then the nomad changes his place. He must not be a nomad. He must not be a traveler by profession, like a camel driver, like a bus driver who drives from town to town, or a train driver or a ship sailor. He must not be professionally a traveler. If he is, he must offer full prayer. And of course, if a nomad travels for Hajj, for a task, for a pilgrimage, for example, he must shorten his prayers. The seventh condition is that the traveling should not be, of course, his profession. This is, I mentioned, this is the seventh condition. That person, the sixth condition is that the person should not be a nomad. And if he is a nomad, he cannot offer full prayers. And the seventh condition is that the person should not be a traveler by profession. And if he is, he cannot shorten his prayers. He must offer full prayers. As far as the eighth condition is concerned, the eighth condition is that the traveler reaches the limit of tarakhus, which means that when you set off and when you take the journey, you must make sure that you have crossed the borderline or the boundary of your city. Normally, if you have moved away 1,500 meters away from the city, or 1.5 kilometers away from the city, it means that you have crossed the borderline, you have crossed the boundary, and therefrom you can of course begin shortening your prayers, provided that you have in your mind that you will travel 44 kilometers away and the destination is 44 kilometers away. And as I mentioned, if the outward and return distance equals to 44 kilometers, then again it would be sufficient. and you can shorten your prayers. Now the point of tarakhus, which is used also in Arabic terminology, is where the city ends, and that is where you do not hear the voice of the call for prayer, and that's where you do not see the minarets of the mosques. And of course, in today's life, we have the cities, they are expanding even, and then there are cities which are very close together to each other, and you can see the cities. Of course, in today's life, you cannot say that you must reach at a distance where you do not see the buildings. Of course, there are buildings everywhere. Wherever you go, you can find buildings. But if you can just calculate it yourself, see if you have crossed the point or the borderline of your city, then you can, of course, begin shortening your prayers and begin breaking your fast. As long as you are in your hometown, you cannot shorten your prayers. You must offer full prayers. But when you have removed, when you have got out and reached the point of tarakhus, then you can shorten your prayers and consider yourself as a traveler. These are some of the rules regarding the prayers of a traveler, and I hope I have fully explained the necessary rules. Inshallah, in the next session to come, I will explain the rules regarding another jurisprudential but very important topic. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا يا ربنا ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا يا ربنا يا ربنا ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا يا ربنا ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا